Well, I got a lot to cover. We got a lot to talk about today. But before I go further, I've got it's that word bittersweet, some bittersweet news. Alex and Brenna are going to be moving to Seattle, Washington the 1st of April. I know. So Alex, let me say that again so that you hear me really well. Alex and Brenna are going to be moving in a month to Seattle, Washington. They have, let me back up. So since Alex was a year and a half old, that was his first time on a stage, and he played Jesus Loves Me on a kettle drum because he couldn't reach an actual drum set. And ministry started in Alex's life, I believe, the first time publicly at a year and a half old. And his mom and I have always said, Alex is going to outgrow us, and he is going to go, and God is going to send him to the nations. And so it's very bittersweet to have that happen, but it's all, there's the bittersweet, there's the sweet part. And I could not be more proud, from a father's point of view, of my son Alex. And God sent Brenna into his life. What an amazing woman of God she is. And so there's an open door for them in Seattle, and God is calling them there. And I don't want them to leave, but I know that that's where they need to go. And so, to have we're talking about the powerful church, and one of the things I said a few weeks ago, part of a powerful church is not just getting people to come to church, but it's also sending people out of the church. To send them to different parts of the world. And I have no idea, and they don't even know fully what all is going to happen. So I don't know what all it's going to look like for them, and they don't know what all it's going to look like. But I do know this. They are going to see the advancement of the kingdom of heaven through their lives. And we get to be a part of that. And so I'm telling you now, so that you kind of have a month to get your mind wrapped around it, and that you get a month to call them out and take them to dinner and write them pretty cards and tell them how much you're going to miss them. And we're going to have a special service for them March 24th. We're going to pretty much dedicate the service to them that day. And we're going to have a celebration. And we're going to, of course, pray over them and just anoint them and do some wonderful things for them. So please don't miss March 24th. That's coming up in 2 or 3 weeks. And please don't now just, zone out, think, oh, what are we going to do? The church is going to fall apart. So I'm not even going to listen to Pastor Gary's message today because I don't know how in the world we're going to be all right. I promise you, we're going to be all right. You will notice that Alex is missing because like maybe the screen doesn't look as perfect or the light's not working the way it's supposed to, but we will notice, or you won't get to hear him preach as often. But I tell you what, God is going to use him for great and mighty things. So are y'all guys okay? No. Oh, my goodness. Well, that really segues me right into my message today. So this is part 4 or 5, I don't know, 12. I don't know. This message seems to be going on and on. The powerful church. Everybody say the powerful, part 5. Somebody say the powerful church. So to be a powerful church, we have to have things that we're passionate about. Somebody say passion. So what are you passionate about? I found this phrase this week. What trips your trigger? That was funny. What trips your trigger? What floats your boat? What are you passionate about? I want to talk to you for a few minutes about that. I've got a couple guest speakers coming in just a few minutes. I know they're in the building, and they're going to come and share some of their passion with you. But I just want to talk to you about passion. I want you to think, what am I passionate about? What am I passionate about? There's times I get passionate about fajitas. Hallelujah. Right? Passionate about some salsa. Anybody? I don't even say that really good, but yeah. What are you passionate about? What is the, of course I'm not talking about fajitas and salsa today. I just want to get you hungry. But there's got to be something that you're passionate about. When you think of the life of Jesus, what was he passionate about? People, right? He was passionate about people. He was passionate about people going from death to life. Did you know, this blew me, I found this years ago, blew me away. Webster's Dictionary. If you think Webster's Dictionary, don't Google right now, get your phone out later, check the facts later. Webster's Dictionary used to be the second definition of passion. Now it has moved to the first definition of passion. These are the words it says. The sufferings of Christ between the night of the Last Supper and his death. Webster's Dictionary. defines passion not as, oh, I got butterflies because she's so pretty. My palms are sweating. I'm in love. That's not what passion is. That's not what Webster says. Webster says that passion, the first definition of passion, if you really want to see what passion looks like, it's what Jesus did between the Last Supper and his resurrection. He was, some of your Bibles, if you got the old school paper Bibles, even on the YouVersion, depending on what translation you're in, when you're reading the story of the crucifixion of Jesus, the heading of that story is called The Passion of Christ. There's a play called The Passion Play. There's a movie that Mel Gibson produced called The Passion of the Christ. Right. So what are you passionate about? I put a definition for you of godly passion. Because, a lot of us are passionate about, I'm still hopped up on these new cinnamon rolls I found. Man, the old school cinnamon roll that's this big, it's hard to eat that and drive. Now you can. If you're a talented driver like me, I got a knee, I can drive just great and, eat I probably could do a steak and potatoes and drive with my knee. But it's not safe. But they have these mini, have y'all seen these at the donut shop? Goodness gracious, it's like a little bit of heaven right there. When you get I'm spending way too much time on cinnamon rolls, but if you get one cinnamon roll, you feel guilty buying 2 of those. But when you get the small ones, you can get like a whole dozen and not feel bad at all, because it's just, anyway. We have different things we're passionate about, but today we're talking about godly passion. So I put a definition for you, okay? So definition of godly passion for today's lesson, the force that drives me to selfless acts while furthering the works of God. A force in me that drives me to do something that is selfless, but the purpose of it is to further the works of heaven, to work on the kingdom of heaven. In other words, what will I sacrifice? There's times in my life when I will sacrifice my time for God time. And that's what I'm talking about. What is that? What cause for me is more important to me than my me time? You know what your me time is, right? What cause in my life is more important to me that I would give up my time for that? What cause am I willing to suffer or pay a price for? Is there a cause in your life that you're willing to suffer for? Is there something in your life that is just it's bigger than you, that you're willing to turn off the television, to not play around a golf, to whatever it is that takes your time? Are you willing to sacrifice that? And I dare say a lot of times in our culture, we are so busy, we never really find our passion. I thought, when was it Al Gore that created the internet? I thought that was a joke. Y'all are so, I thought we were having fun today. Yeah. He did not, okay, anyway. When the internet was formed, it was supposed to save us a lot of time. How many of y'all got more time than you used to have? No, what we have is a lot more information, but we don't have any more time, right? It was supposed, literally, you don't have to drive to New York to go to the New York Library. You can go on your phone and you can check out pretty much any book that was ever printed right there on your phone sitting at church. And some of y'all do that. That's why you don't know how come you're not growing spiritually, because you're distracted. But anyway, it's another whole message. Anyway, it didn't save us any time. But a lot of times we spend our free time, but we're not spend it on a passion. Jeremiah 20, verse 9. Look what this says. But if I say I'll never mention the Lord or speak in his name, his word burns in my heart like a fire. It's like a fire in my bones. In the King James, it says, it's a fire shut up in my bones. I am worn out trying to hold on to it. Trying to hold it in. I can't do it. Man, we need to have something in us that we're so passionate about. We can't wait to get off work so we can go do our passion. We can't wait to quit eating so that we can go do it. We can't wait for church to be over so we can get outside of church and reach the lost. We got to have something in our life that we're so passionate about that it drives us. What's the fuel in your tank? There's another one. Clicking them off. Psalm 69, verses 9 and 10, and this is in the Passion Translation of the Bible. I don't know if you even knew that was out there. If you have your Bible app, you can look that up. It's pretty cool. My love for you has my heart on fire. Man, I just love that phrase. My love for you, God, has my heart on fire. My passion consumes me for your house. Nothing will turn me away, even though I endure all the insults of those who insult you. When they see me seeking for more of you, weeping and fasting, they'll just scoff and scorn at my passion. Man, David's just saying, I'm so passionate about God. Sometimes I don't even want to eat because I just want to be in God's presence. Sometimes I don't even care what you think about me. I'm just so passionate about being in God's presence. Who cares if you laugh at me? Man, as long as I'm in God's presence. Man, do you have something in your life that you don't care what anybody else thinks about you? Do you have something in your life, that you're just like, I don't even care what they think about me because this is what I'm about? Man. Let me give you some misconceptions about passion. And I got to go quick because we got 2 guest speakers. 3 common misconceptions about passion. Number 1, my spiritual gift is my passion. Bang. My spiritual gift is pastoring. Another one of my spiritual gifts is exhortation, but that is not my passion. I do love to speak. I do love to pastor, but that is not why I do what I do, because I love to be a pastor. I love people. And my spiritual gift is the tool that enables me to pursue my passion. Do you see the difference? A lot of us have we all have a spiritual gift. If you don't know what your spiritual gift is, you need to go to Growth Track. We're going to take you through a quiz. We're going to find out what your spiritual gift is, what your personality is. We're going to help you figure out who you are so that you know what you can do to help you discover your passion. But your spiritual gift is not your passion. Your spiritual gift is the tool that enables you to do your passion. Another misconception, my talent determines my passion. That's not true either. Some of us think, well, I'm really good at baseball, so I'm so passionate about it. Now, it could be your passion, and you could be talented in it, but that may not always be the case. I mean, you could be really good at something that's not really what you're passionate about. There's probably some really good ditch diggers. You're like the best ditch digger, man. I can dig a straight ditch. You don't even have to measure it. It's the exact depth they need, man. Once I get going, I'm the best ditch digger you ever seen. Were you passionate about it? No, I hate it. Right? Or you can be really passionate about something that you're not good at. That's the thing about talent. You can say, man, I'm just so passionate about singing. Josh, put me in, coach, put me in. And we put you up here, it's like, we're like, oh, God, please help us. You can be really passionate about singing or about music, but you may not be talented there. But that doesn't mean that's not where your passion is, because where your passion is, there will open up another opportunity for you. Maybe not to sing. Maybe your passion is music, but maybe it's not to sing. Maybe it's to produce albums. Maybe it's to write songs. And so your talent doesn't always determine what your passion is. And here's another one, misconception. What I spend the most time doing is my passion. Well, if that was the case, then we'd all be passionate about sleep. Or we'd all be passionate about work. That's what takes most of our time. I think the third biggest thing that we spend is it's sleep, work, and food. Now, food. Let me see the foodies in here. Yeah, some of y'all all about food, man, all about the cooking, and now that could be a passion, because man, Jesus was passionate about food. He had 5,000 people. I mean, we got to feed these people. We ain't got nothing to feed them. We got to sack lunch. What are you passionate about? I've discovered in my life, if I don't have a passion, I will spend my free time in the passion of somebody else. If I don't have a passion, all of my time will be consumed pursuing the passion of somebody else. But when I find my passion, when I find that thing that's in me that winds my clock, when I find that thing, man, then I can put other things aside. Man, what focus it gives you when you know what you're passionate about. How many of you want to figure out how to discover your passion? Anybody? If you don't raise your hand, that's because you already know what you're passionate about. I get that. Or you just don't want to raise your hand because you're a snob, and Whichever. I don't care. I'm passionate about this job. I get to call you names. How to discover your passion. Number one, you ready? Pray. Pray. Isn't it weird how we always save that for last? When nothing else works, that's when we start praying. Man, we got to switch that on. We got to switch that on the devil. And before you get out of bed, you should pray. Well, I don't have time. Then you need to set your alarm clock a little earlier. I think it was Smith Wigglesworth that said, I don't have time not to pray. Yeah, he said, I never pray more than 15 minutes, but I never go more than 15 minutes without praying. Yeah. Man, pray. Man, what would happen if we went to God and say, God, what is it that you created me to do? What am I about? Because, there's so many things that are really cool. There's so many things that I would like to do, and so many things that maybe would be incredible. But what is my passion? Man, that's the first thing we got to do. We got to pray. Say, God, who did you create me to be? God, who am I? The other thing is, the next thing to find your passion is you got to put in the work. You got to actually search it out. You got to look for it. Passion doesn't just show up on your doorstep. Knock, knock, knock. Your passion's here. This is what you're all about. It doesn't work that way. I didn't know I was passionate about people until I started working with people. But I didn't start off, in ministry on this stage. It didn't work that way. It was this and this and this and this and this and this. And each one of those, I look back, there was something that I was passionate about. But I had to pursue it. You can't just say, Pastor Gary, I just want to be like Gabe, man. I'm passionate about the drums. I just want to play the drums, and I'm just all about that. It's like, okay, awesome. Have you gone to a pawn shop? Have you got a drum set yet? Well, no. Well, you got to put the work in. I remember Alex when he was a little kid. He loved to play the drums, but they didn't make drum sets that small. And so he would go to the kitchen, and he'd pull out all the pots and pans, and he would set them all up, and we had chopsticks, and that was his drumsticks, because the regular drumsticks pretty long, Take out an eyeball with that. But had his little chopsticks, and then he taught his brother to play drums, and he had his whole little band, and he had his little friend over. They had the hockey sticks for the guitars, man, and they were just, put on some DC Talk back in the day, man, and they were rocking it out in the living room, man. Just having a good old time, man. That's what he was passionate about that. But you know what? Passion for music in him opened up a door for him for passion for ministry, to speak, and now he's headed to Seattle, Washington to help pastor a church out there. But you got to put the work in. Passion doesn't just show up. You got to put the work in. Here's another. You may not like this, or you may not. You'll like it, but you may not think it's true. But if you don't know what you're passionate about, try everything. I'm serious. Just try everything. Try everything. If you're passionate about God, then try every ministry in the church. Just sign up for them all. We'll put you on a schedule. You may not like driving the van on Wednesday night. You might love it. You don't know if you haven't tried it. That's what they tell me about guacamole. Where's Justin at? Justin, I did, man. I tried it, buddy. We were at Fresco's, and you guys like the guacamole? He goes, oh, yeah. So we ordered it, and, the guy's just right there. He's doing his little guacamole magic, But the problem with guacamole is there's an avocado in it. I'm good with everything else. Maybe put an apple or something in there. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe to you, but the avocado is just bad. Anyway, he's like, but Pastor Gary, man, you should try it. And people say that to me all the time. And then he said something that it was an opportunity to change my life, but it didn't. But he said, he said my words. He said, I don't like avocado. And I'm like, hallelujah, somebody gets me. And he goes, but then I tried guacamole, and it changed my life. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to try it. I guess I got a big blob of avocado. That's all I could taste. Avocado. It's like, man. So now I know officially I don't like guacamole. But I wouldn't know if I didn't try it, right? You don't know. People say, oh, I don't want to work in the kids ministry because I don't like kids. You don't know that. Just because you don't like your kids. Uh-oh. 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 You might like those kids. Oh, sorry. Well, I'm turning red. I'm embarrassed. I shouldn't have said that. Yeah. Try everything. Okay, when you're looking for your passion, remember this. Remember, passion evolves and grows. what you're passionate about today might lead you to what you're passionate about tomorrow, and it might eventually lead to what you're really passionate about. Passion doesn't just, you don't, I was never passionate about being a public speaker. That wasn't, wasn't something I was like searching out to do. But it evolves. Another thing when you're looking for your passion, focus on the joy of your future and not the pain of your past. And if you really want to find your passion, quit living in the past. Look ahead. Because your past will say, when you hear a message like this, if you're all eaten up with shame and guilt, you're going to, passion causes you to have to leave that behind because it pushes you forward. It says, you know what, I can't stay where I used to be. I can't live in that pain because the pain of your past, the shame of your past, it will rob you of your passion. Because you'll hear a message like this and you'll be like, well, yeah, I would love to do this and I'd love to do that. And I've got all these things I'd love to do, but I did this and I messed up really bad. And that's what the cross is about. See, Jesus' passion, this is good. Jesus' passion enables your passion. You should write that down. Jesus was passionate about you being forgiven of your sins so you can find your passion. That's good. Praise God. Hallelujah. That's good preaching, man. Yeah. Let me give you some questions to help discover your passion, okay? Here's some things you need to write down. What work could I do and be okay if I never got paid? What work could I do and be okay if I never got paid? In case you didn't know, the children's workers don't get paid, but they love it. They love what they do. They just love it. I was a youth pastor for, years. I would go to these other church conferences and they'd say, all right, all the full-time youth pastors, stand up. I never got to stand up. I see these guys stand there and you're just like, yeah, I do this all day long. It's the greatest job in the world. I think, man, I'm sure I would love to get paid, but I wasn't doing it to get paid. Not that they were doing it to get paid, but I just love doing it. Is there something that you love to do that you don't care if you get paid or not? That very well could be your passion. Here's another one. If I was independently wealthy and money wasn't an issue, what would I spend my time doing? I used to think, when I used to work for General Motors, I'd think, man, I'm going to win the lottery one of these days, and then I'm going to come back to work in my giant RV. I'm going to go buy an RV, and I'm just going to sit up right out front every time when people are coming to work. And I'm just going to be sitting there drinking my Dr. Pepper, waving at the guys as they go in and go, hey, guys, what's up, boss man? How you doing? Just to rub it in his face. But, I'm not really passionate about that. But what would you do if you won the lottery and you didn't have to work anymore? What would you spend your time doing? I dare say a lot of the things that you spend your time doing, you wouldn't even do those things anymore. What could I do for hours and never get tired of? Do you know you can get tired of sleeping? It's like, man, I'm sick and tired of being in this bed. Get tired of sleeping? What could I do for hours and never get tired of? What events in my life have brought me the most fulfillment? There are times when you can look back over your shoulder and you say, man, when I was doing this, when I was all about that, I just felt, man, for those few minutes, I just felt like, man, that was me right there. There's times when I get to hang out with some guys downtown and get to talk to these guys and hear their stories and talking about some homeless people. There's times when I'm hanging out with them, I feel like I am so much in my element. I just feel like, man, I can relate to them. And I don't know why I can relate to them, but I just feel like, man, I can talk to them. Sometimes I get around some of you, and y'all using all fancy words and, looking all good. And nothing wrong with that, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But there's just times, man, when I'm hanging out. My friend Kevin, I was talking about him last week. He lives downtown, and we text all during the week, and he just lives right by the water gardens, and that's where he lives. And I just feel right at home talking to him, and getting to share my testimony and talk to him about Jesus and praying for him. And it's honestly it's one of the highlights of my day when I get to hang out with him. What is the highlight of your day? What is the thing in your life that you just love to do? And here's the other one. What needs have been revealed to me through the pain of my past? See, we do go through things. We can't live in our past. But sometimes when we go through things, you will find your passion because of what you went through. You know, some of you, you've been here long enough, you know for a while, I wasn't coming to church here. I was going to another church because I was going through some really hard times. And when I was away, this church I was going to, every Sunday, they had prayer for people, every Sunday. And at the end of service, there was men and women that would come and stand at the front. And, man, that ministered to me so much. Because most of the time when I was going through some really just dark days, I would try to listen and try to focus on the message. But I was really just there to be in God's presence. And when service was over, I probably couldn't have told you 5 words that the man said, but I could tell you almost every word that person prayed over me at the end. And so, when I came back, it's one of the things we just started establishing. At the end of every service, there's going to be somebody down here to pray for you. Because I went through a really dark time, and I became passionate about that. When you drive on the freeways, you'll see that sign that says Amber Alert. That was a really dark day in the parents' life of Amber Hagerman when she was kidnapped riding her bicycle back in 1996, I believe it was. It wasn't even her mom that started it. She started some other foundations, and I think Martin Frost was a congressman, and they started some different things, and different things that they got put in about what she was very passionate about. But Amber's dad was asked to speak at a press conference, and he had his friend with him, as a neighbor friend. His name was Bruce something. But anyway, Bruce was with him, and for some reason they asked Bruce to share. Well, Bruce had saw what happened to the neighbor girl, Amber, and he had his plan come to him, and he put out the plan in this 20-minute, off-the-cuff speech that he had not prepared. He put out the plan, and that's the plan that has been in place since 1996 that we know as the Amber Alert. It's something he was very passionate about because his daughter played with Amber. So sometimes there's things in our past that will help expose what we're really passionate about. If I could get, Lupe, if you could find April or Letitia. I've asked a couple of the people in our church to speak to you today and share with you some of the things they're passionate about. One of the things that's changing in our church is we're starting this year, we used to do connect groups, and we're not doing connect groups anymore. I'm not against connect groups, but what we're doing is we're calling these new things, it's called a U crew. And what a U crew is, it's when you decide what you're passionate about and we put a crew with you to go do it. It's when you look and you decide and you say, you know what, I'm really passionate about this, or I'm really passionate about that. And what I've discovered is if you're passionate about, there's probably 4 or 5 other people right here in this very congregation that are equally as passionate about it too. They just don't know how to do it. They're not the Bruce. They're not the guy that has the plan. They're just the one that's passionate about it. And that's something I've discovered in life. A lot of us have things we're passionate about, but we don't know what to do with that passion. And so what our new, I don't even call them connect groups, but our new U crews, what they're going to be is they're going to be passion-based. What are you passionate about? If there's something you're passionate about, our church is going to come along beside you and walk with you because I'm passionate about people and I'm passionate about seeing God use you. Which one of you ladies wants to go first? And nobody raises their hand. Come on, Letitia. Would you give Letitia a hand? Letitia has had some stuff in her life that, just like I was talking to you about, some things in her life that have opened a door for her. And when she starts talking, you're going to know this lady's passionate about what she loves to do. Letitia.
Thank y'all. First of all, I'll start with, I'm not used to standing up here. I'm a little nervous. I call myself a lifetime drug addict. I've done drugs from the age of 13 to April 1st of last year. I'd made a decision I was going to completely quit everything. Not saying that I want to be truthful with you. I do slip occasionally. but the slips are coming few and far apart. I've been through, my daughter is really my strength other than God. She was shot February 21st of 2018, and her boyfriend was killed. She wasn't killed. By the grace of God, she's here today with no problems. She was shot with a .45 through her neck, and it came out her back. And it changed my life. It changed my life tremendously. It made me realize that she had a purpose to be here, and I had a purpose to be here. I prayed for a long, long time about what my purpose was with God, and that He would send something to me. And believe it or not, Facebooks is not my thing no more. I'm off Facebooks. I hate Facebooks. But this is where I found it at. One of my friends' sisters, she had posted prison ministry, and they were looking for somebody. And I felt like I had a story to tell, to share with people that needed hope and healing in their life. And these prisoners, I call them the forgotten. They're the forgotten people that are locked away and forgotten. And we forget that they need hope, healing too. And they're humans too, and they're my brothers and sisters in these prisons too that God put here, and God loves them as much as He loves me. The only difference is I never got caught with what I did. They did. That's the only difference. And so I go into the prisons and I talk to them, and we have a program we go over. But I'm telling you what, guys, if you're interested in it, it's such I feel like I walk away out of there with more than I take in, because it's such a blessing. It's a blessing to go in there and talk to these guys they're like sponges. They want to know, and they want to share their word. And maybe some of them, they're in there because they can get out of their cell block for a little while. But you know what? By the end, they're thinking differently. By the end of the time that the 14-week span, this is my second round of doing it. I'm doing 2 prisons this time. I do a prison at Lindsay Unit, which is in Jacksboro. Let me tell y'all, I don't know if y'all know where Jacksboro is, but that's a good drive. It's a good drive to go out there, and it's at 6:20 at night, so I don't get out of there till 9:30. And I live right here. But you know what? It's been a blessing. I pray for time. And another thing, too, is time to be able to do this, time to be able to live my life, time to be able to work my job. And God gives it to me now, He gives it to me. I'll look at the clock and I go, wow, that's what time it is, I thought I was running late. But if anybody's interested, I would be glad to help you get it started into this, because I tell you, it's blessed my life. It's blessed my life. And like I said, it was my daughter, Rachel. She's y'all have probably seen her come with me occasionally. We haven't faced. I tell my story in prison too. And my story is probably about 30 to 45 minutes long in prison. But we still hadn't faced the conviction of these 2 that shot her and killed her boyfriend. And I've had to learn to forgive these people. Forgive them, even though their actions were wrong, their intentions were wrong, their intentions were to kill my daughter. I forgive them because that's what God chose. That's what He wants me to do. He wants me to forgive them because they are still a child of God. And that's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do. And I still have to face them. I still have to face them in a courtroom. And I've been praying that God would help me through that. But He has. He has. He's answered my prayers. He's sending me into the prisons. He's getting me to know these people in prison. So he has answered my prayers. And, you know, I don't know what else to say. It just makes me, it's such a blessing in my life. I feel like God is moving me tremendously in so many different ways, and it's all happened so fast. Sometimes I feel a little overwhelmed with it. So you're going to make me cry. You know, I'm confided in her in a lot of things. And I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. I've just come from the grounds up, and I'm going up, up, up is all I can say.
I love you so much. Oh, I'm so proud of you. So proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you for not giving up on me.
I love this lady so much. Just could y'all give her another hand? Woo! Man. I'm just over there crying as she's talking. I'm just like, Letitia, didn't you start coming to church because of softball? Is that how we?
Actually,
Yeah. April, come on. April's still crying. She's got to wipe her tears before she. Everybody put your hands together for April German.
I don't have a story that's going to make you cry, so yay. But I love Letitia so much. If you guys don't know her, you should really take some time to get to know her. She's got such, that story was just a little piece of her story. She's got some amazing things that she could share. But what I'm going to share is, so I brought this basket. It's got fruit, crackers, granola bars, water, and tissues. And I guess maybe a month ago, Pastor Gary asked us to start thinking differently and start thinking about things that we could do with our little areas of ministry that would help other people. And so my area of ministry is the kids' church. And I was thinking, when he was speaking about that, what could we take our kids to do? How could we get kids involved in serving and helping other people? And Jean, raise your hand, Jean. Jean had recently had, her father was in the hospital, and it was a really sad situation. And to see how a couple of us got together, and now it is going to make me cry, and just went and took her food at the hospital and just took her little tiny things like this, had the difference that made in her life. And even when she was going through something horrible, the little tiniest little gift and the little way that you can show you care really put a smile on her face when she didn't want to smile. And she shared that with me, and I thought, what our children could do. Something so simple, something so small, going into the emergency rooms and passing out, the people that are sitting there. They're not the sick people maybe, but they have someone there. And the kids could just give them a water, say a prayer for them, give them a tissue. It's huge, and you have no idea the impact that might have on somebody. And our little kids can do that. And that's what I didn't have a clue that I was passionate for that, and that I even would want to take Ezra into an emergency room, because I'm going, gross, there's germs and he's going to get sick. But that's not what Jesus was about, and I want Ezra to be like Jesus. And how else could I teach him that but just take him in there, take him with this basket, take him with, his cute little smile, and let him go in there and bless people's lives. And so that's what I want for our kids department. And if you want to get together with us, if you have kids, there's no set schedule for it. It's just every week, whenever we have time, just to go into Hughley, into the emergency room. There's a couple little hospitals around this area that we can just go into and take them food and take them a smile and just go be a little bit of Jesus for those people. So that's what I'm doing.
Oh, my goodness. What would happen? How much would that change your life if you're in the emergency room and somebody walks up to you and hands you a water or an apple or an orange or just says, hey, what can we do for you? And that would impact my life so much. Everyone in the room has had an opportunity to not be the patient, but be the one that's patiently waiting, that is in all the anxiety and all of the nervousness and all the fear. Man, to just have somebody come to you in the name of the Lord and say, hey, how can I pray for you? I mean, wow, what an amazing opportunity. I wish I had time. I'd have some more people up here and have them share. One of the ones that is Tyrell. Tyrell comes to church. He's got a wicked sense of humor. He's the sweetest man. You may not know that if you just met him. You wouldn't know the compassion and what he's passionate about. But he loves to go to Kroger and get those deals on all the stuff. And he stockpiles food and cereal boxes and detergents and every time Dr. Pepper's on sale, he's telling me, Pastor Gary, man, the Dr. Pepper's 79 cents at Kroger. You need to come get you some. I'm getting a truckload. There's families in this area that Tyrell feeds them. He goes to the store and he loves to shop and he loves to get food and he loves to minister to those people. And he would, if he was here today, I probably couldn't get him on the stage to tell you that because he doesn't, it's not something he's waving a flag about, but it's something he's passionate about. I met with, don't y'all love Josh? Can we give Josh a hand, our worship pastor? I spent some time with Josh a few weeks ago. We were just talking about worship stuff, and I asked him, man, what are you passionate about? What trips your trigger? And he said, well, he goes, there's this program that I'm a part of. He goes, I just love music, and he goes, there's a program that I'm a part of, and we raise money and we buy guitars for kids that want to play the guitar, but their parents can't afford one. Wow. That's like giving a harp to David and just seeing what happens. Man, what are you passionate about? There's something in you. There's something bigger than you that is more long-lasting than your 70, 80, 90, 100 years. There's something in you that God wants to use. And I just want you to know, from a church that's all about love, hope, and healing, we are all about you. We are all about the passion that God's placed in you. I remember when I was sitting down and just kind of praying through, making some changes in our church. I remember having this thought, because this is not the way church does stuff. I had this thought, well, Pastor Gary, I don't know why I would say Pastor Gary, I'm talking to myself. But anyway, but if you just let people go with their passions, the church will be so divided. It'll be so, you won't be able to control it because, this is the one thing the uprising does. And if you don't fit into that group, then you're out of here. That's not the plan of God. And the plan of God is he sent you here with your passion. He didn't send us here just to change this little 2-acre piece of property we're on. He sent us here to change this region. And then from that region, we begin to change other states and other nations. There's a big passion in my heart for Africa. I didn't know that till I went to Africa. Man, I can't get it out of my head. I just love it. I can't wait to go back. And we all have things that we're passionate about. But what if? Just dream with me for a minute. What if more than one person took on April's cause? Then that means there's 2 people at a hospital taking 2 baskets of food, and twice as many people are being changed. What if it wasn't just Letitia going to the prison? What if she knew you were praying with her? You say, well, Gary, I can't go to the prison, but you can pray for Letitia. It strikes a chord in your heart. Maybe you could write a letter to an inmate. You see, there's things that we could partner up, and we could take our crews of people, and man, we could change the world. What are you passionate about?